Welcome to Bookish and Beyond, where nonfiction comes to life. In each episode, we break down the world's most impactful books, from self-help to biographies. We dive into key takeaways, author insights, and modern parallels. Want more? Subscribers get exclusive access to our book summary, study guide, and timeline PDF, everything you need to go deeper. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Let's explore the books that change the way we think. This is Bookish and Beyond.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today, folks. Deep into the enduring wisdom of Rumi. You know, that 13th century Sufi mystic and poet. His words, they still resonate with millions around the world, you know?
And we're doing this deep dive a bit differently this time. We're going beyond, the typical biographies and those collections of poems you usually see.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What do you mean?
Well, we're going to start in the digital world with a surprising find on, get this, the Internet Archive.
The Internet Archive. Really? That's where you go for like old websites, right? Or maybe a vintage video game, you know?
Yeah.
Wouldn't exactly think of it as a place for profound mystical teachings.
Haha. Yeah, I know what you mean. But you'd be surprised. It's all about preserving human knowledge in all its forms. And that includes a vast, vast collection of books.
Okay, I'm listening.
So tucked away in this digital library, we found a book. It's called Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi Hayat wa Afkar, uploaded just back in 2021.
Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi Hayat wa Afkar.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a digital snapshot then, of a book exploring Rumi's life and thoughts. That's pretty cool.
It is.
So what can you tell us about this book?
Well, the title itself, it translates to Maulana Jalaluddin Rumi, Life and Thoughts. It was written by Muhammad Akram Chightai, published in 2004, by Sangi Meal Publications in Lahore, Pakistan.
Lahore. Wow, fascinating. That city's known for its rich Sufi tradition.
And now it's playing a role in sharing Rumi's legacy with the digital world. That's really something.
It is. It highlights how Rumi's influence continues to transcend those geographical boundaries, even in the digital age.
Okay.
Now, you might be thinking, an Urdu book on Rumi, won't that mostly reach, people who already know about him?
Yeah, good point. Does this really broaden his audience then?
It does. It does in a couple of ways, actually. First, it lets Urdu speakers from all over the world access his teachings, in their own language.
Right. And second, the Internet Archive, well, they've made the entire text searchable thanks to optical character recognition. It's also known as OCR. So anyone, it doesn't matter what language they speak, they can explore specific themes or ideas within the book.
So it's not just preserving the book then, it's making it truly accessible, searchable. That's really pretty amazing when you think about it.
It is. And it speaks to the power of the Internet Archive in, democratizing knowledge. This book, it becomes a bridge between Rumi's world and ours.
Makes you wonder what other unexpected connections are waiting to be discovered in those digital stacks, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
What else can you tell us about this particular book? Does it offer like a unique perspective on Rumi?
Well, the book dives into both Rumi's life, his hayat, and his thoughts, his afkar, just like the title says. This gives us, a kind of holistic understanding of the man and his philosophy.
Okay, so it's not just a collection of poems or a straight biography. It's more of a deep dive into Rumi's world, huh? Exploring the events that shaped him and the ideas that continue to inspire us today.
Precisely. And it's fascinating to consider that this book, published in Lahore in 2004, is available to, anyone with an internet connection, all thanks to the Internet Archive.
Talk about a journey. From 13th century Persia to 21st century cyberspace, Rumi's message continues to travel the world.
And that journey, it's reflected in the book's journey to the Internet Archive. The entry, it shows that it's been viewed over 2,264 times and favorited by, 4 users. While those numbers might seem, small in the grand scheme of the internet.
They represent real people engaging with Rumi's work in the digital age, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's got to be a testament to the enduring power of his ideas.
Exactly. It's a reminder that knowledge can flow in unexpected ways, reaching new audiences through platforms we might not typically associate with, profound wisdom.
Okay, so we've set the stage, explored the context of this digital discovery, and glimpsed the global reach of Rumi's teachings. Where do we go from here?
Well, I think it's time to dive into the book itself, see what insights it offers into Rumi's world, what makes this book stand out from, other works on Rumi, what can we learn from this particular lens into his life and thoughts.
I'm really curious to see what this book reveals about Rumi. Does it focus on any particular aspects of his life or teachings?
One thing that really struck me was the book's emphasis on Rumi's personal transformation.
Oh,
Yeah. See, before he became the renowned poet and mystic we know today, Rumi, well, he was a scholar of Islamic law and theology.
so he wasn't always focused on poetry and mystical experiences then?
Not exactly, no. This book, it highlights a turning point in Rumi's life, his encounter with the wandering dervish Shams of Tabriz.
Oh yeah, Shams. I've heard of him. He's often portrayed as like a catalyst for Rumi's spiritual awakening, right?
Right, exactly. Their meeting, it just ignited this profound shift in Rumi's perspective. He went from this life of intellectual pursuits to one of ecstatic poetry and spiritual exploration. The book, it explores this transformation in detail, showing how Rumi's encounter with Shams just opened him up to a new way of experiencing the world.
That reminds me of one of Rumi's most famous quotes. What you seek is seeking you. He's like, Rumi was destined for the spiritual awakening, and Shams was the key that unlocked it.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to put it. And the book delves into that, the profound impact Shams had on Rumi's poetry. Before meeting Shams, Rumi's work, it was primarily focused on religious scholarship. But after their encounter, his poetry, it just became infused with passion, this longing and a deep yearning for union with the divine.
So we can actually see this evolution in Rumi's writing.
Yes, and the book provides some great examples. It examines how Rumi's poetry, post-Shams, explored themes of love, separation, and the mystical journey of the soul. Themes that still resonate with people centuries later.
It's incredible to think that a chance encounter could have such a profound impact on someone's life, their work. And it speaks to the power of human connection to awaken something deep within us.
Absolutely. And this book, written in Urdu and now accessible, globally through the Internet Archive, it serves as a reminder of that power. It's a testament to how knowledge and inspiration can transcend time, language, and those cultural boundaries.
This is where it gets really interesting for me. We've got this book that explores Rumi's transformation, his evolution as a poet, and those themes of love and longing that just permeate his work. All of this, it's presented through the lens of Urdu language and culture.
Precisely. And I think that perspective, it just adds another layer of richness to our understanding of Rumi. Remember, this book wasn't written for a Western audience already familiar with Rumi. It was written for an audience in Pakistan, a country with its own deep Sufi traditions.
So it's not just translating Rumi's words then, it's reframing them within a different cultural context.
Exactly. And that makes me think about how Rumi's message, while universal in its essence, can be interpreted and experienced in, diverse ways depending on one's cultural background.
That's a fascinating point. It's like Rumi's poetry is a prism, reflecting different colors and shades of meaning depending on the light that shines through it.
I love that analogy, and it highlights the importance of exploring different perspectives, even within the realm of something as seemingly universal as spirituality.
This makes me wonder about the people who uploaded this book to the Internet Archive. What motivated them to share this particular work with the world?
That's a great question. It speaks to the idea of a digital commons, where individuals contribute to a shared pool of knowledge, motivated by a desire to preserve and share something they find valuable.
It's like a digital act of generosity then, offering this book as a gift to anyone who might be seeking Rumi's wisdom.
And think about the ripple effect. Someone in Pakistan uploads this book, and someone in, say, Brazil, who might not have otherwise encountered Rumi in this way, stumbles upon it and is touched by his words. It's quite remarkable.
It is. Okay, we've talked about the book's focus on Rumi's transformation, the themes it explores, and the cultural context it provides. But I'm curious, what stood out to you personally as you delved into this digital discovery?
What struck me the most was the book's exploration of the relationship between Rumi and Shams. It's often romanticized as this, perfect spiritual partnership. But this book, it doesn't shy away from the complexities and the challenges they faced.
So it's a more nuanced portrayal of their relationship.
Definitely. It acknowledges the tensions, the misunderstandings, the periods of separation they endured. It portrays their bond as a dynamic and evolving one, full of both joy and struggle.
That makes their story even more human, relatable, and ultimately more inspiring. It reminds us that even the most profound spiritual journeys, they're rarely straightforward or easy, are they? They're filled with ups and downs, moments of doubt and moments of clarity.
And it's through those challenges that we often grow the most, right? Just as Rumi's poetry was born out of his own personal struggles and transformations, so too can our own journeys of self-discovery be fueled by the obstacles we overcome.
I appreciate that you brought up this point. It's a good reminder that we don't need to have all the answers or achieve some perfect state of enlightenment. It's the journey itself with all its complexities and imperfections that holds the greatest value.
Absolutely. And this book, in its exploration of Rumi's own journey, it invites us to embrace the messy, beautiful, and ultimately transformative nature of our own spiritual explorations.
This has been such a fascinating conversation. We've gone from discovering an Urdu book on Rumi on the Internet Archive to discussing the complexities of his relationship with Shams, the evolution of his poetry, and the broader implications for our own spiritual journeys. It feels like we've only just scratched the surface here, of this book and the insights it offers. What else can we learn from this digital discovery?
What's fascinating is that this book, in its exploration of Rumi's life and thought, it also gives us a window into the broader world of Sufism.
Can you elaborate on that a little? For those of us who might not be familiar with Sufism, what are some of the key, ideas or practices that this book sheds light on?
Well, Sufism, at its core, it's a mystical path within Islam that emphasizes a direct personal experience of the divine. It's about seeking a deeper connection with God through things like meditation, chanting, and selfless service.
Good.
And this book, through its portrayal of Rumi, it embodies many of those core Sufi principles.
So we're not just learning about Rumi the poet, but also Rumi the Sufi mystic.
Exactly. The book, it explores how Rumi's poetry became a vehicle for expressing his spiritual experiences, his insights. It shows how his verses, filled with these metaphors of love, longing, and union, reflect that Sufi yearning for closeness with God.
It's like his poetry becomes a bridge between the human and the divine, inviting us to experience that same sense of longing and connection.
That's a beautiful way to put it, yeah. And the book also delves into the importance of the teacher-student relationship in Sufism, exemplified by Rumi's bond with Shams.
Right.
This relationship, it wasn't just about, imparting knowledge. It was about guiding Rumi on his spiritual journey, challenging him to shed his ego and embrace a deeper truth.
That reminds me of something we talked about earlier, about, the complexities of their relationship. It wasn't always smooth sailing.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like those challenges were essential for Rumi's growth.
Absolutely. And this book, in its nuanced portrayal of their relationship, it reminds us that the spiritual path, it's rarely a linear one, It's often marked by detours, obstacles, and unexpected encounters that ultimately lead us closer to our true selves.
This has been such an illuminating deep dive. We've gone from a digital discovery on the Internet Archive to, a profound exploration of Rumi's life, his poetry, and the mystical tradition that shaped his worldview. What would you say is the most significant takeaway for our listener?
I think the key takeaway here is this. Knowledge can be found in the most unexpected places. Who would have thought that an Urdu book on Rumi, tucked away in the digital stacks of the Internet Archive, could offer such rich insights into his life and teachings?
It's a reminder to stay curious,
Yeah.
to explore beyond our usual sources of information, to embrace that serendipity of discovery.
Exactly. And it also highlights the interconnectedness of knowledge. Here we have a book, published in Pakistan, making its way to a global audience through a digital platform, and ultimately connecting people from all over the world with the wisdom of a 13th century Sufi mystic.
It's like Rumi's message itself, transcending time and space to touch hearts and minds across cultures and generations. So for our listener, as you continue your own explorations, remember to keep an open mind. Embrace the unexpected. And know that the most profound discoveries, they're often waiting just around the corner, sometimes even in those digital archives.
Well said. Until next time, may your journey be filled with wonder and insightful discoveries.